you are writing and thinking about something that someone is an expert in, and you need to convince the person why what you think is worthy enough. So you have to think beyond the way the person thinks and prove to the person that you don't know what I know. Yeah, that is it. Now, the point I'm making is that when we are going through these phases of our lives, we are trying to go to school, we are trying to do all these things. We are juggling many things. And sometimes we don't sleep. So most of us will just sleep 2-3 hours, and then it becomes a pattern. So during my MPhil days, I'll stay up from 9 p.m. to 4 a.m. Now, during my PhD days, I realized that I can't do that. But I'm not too old. The point is that my body had changed and I didn't know. Okay, so let's be mindful of these things. The next one is that I'm sure most of you may be familiar to karoshi. So in Japan, they also have this, in quotes, or quote unquote, crazy work system. So in Japan, people can work and actually pass out. Okay. So, and their death rate was unthinkable. But now in Japan, the average child does what we call mindfulness during their school time. So in Japan, at lunch, children are required to sleep now. Okay, do you know why? Because the point is that when they were building the country, they needed people to work. Now they've realized that most of their excellent people just die at their desk. And I'm sure most of you have heard these things, where people, I mean, one of the very hurtful things I've experienced in my profession is when a very top executive fine one morning just shows up in the hospital to get checked. Like we are trying to check him out, and the guy can't get up again. 5 days, he's gone. So I'm only bringing awareness to these things. Now, so for those of us who may get used to burnout, some people get used to burnout. Yeah. There's some people, work helps them get out of their problems. Take your time. I'm not saying don't progress in your career, but take your time, because one thing I've noticed is a lot of them also come back to me and tell me, I think I have ADHD. And I always tell them, you definitely don't have ADHD. But there's something called anxiety-induced ADHD. So anxiety-induced ADHD means it's basically sometimes when you work over a long period of time, your body goes into hyper-aroused state. So you are constantly on edge. Then you begin to have attention challenges. And then you become restless. So sometimes you are just moving around and you don't really know what you are looking for, but you are looking for something. Serious things. Like there are people who are battling acute anxiety. Nobody knows about it. To walk through the doors of UGMC and go to their office is a struggle. But they put it together and they walk. There are people who have to practically take an antidepressant or smoke before they show up at work. Okay, so let's not make it look like we are all fine. We are all going through something. The only thing we can do is to support each other. Okay, so let's keep that in mind. One of the things that hurts every psychologist is to hear that your client has attempted suicide. It's a client of mine's wife called me at 12 a.m. Like, Paul. She calls me Paul. Paul. What is it? Then she told me, call this hospital. I'm sending you their number now. Call. It's like your friend. Your friend. I tell you what, this is a solid engineer. He's built dams. And himself. Okay, the point I'm making is that when he goes to work as an engineer and he's giving the results and he's making $10 million for the company, they don't ask whether he ever gets depressed. But this client of mine is suffering bipolar. And you don't put someone suffering bipolar under that level of stress.
During the attack, one of them hit my left leg with an object. When you asked me this morning about the kind of object that was used to hit me, I will not be able to tell you. But the bone got broken instantly at the Achimota EC municipal office. The office that is closer to the police station and the Achimota Golf Club. So I was rushed to the hospital. When I got here, I was admitted and I was scheduled for a surgery. So the first surgery was done. That was on the 22nd of September. It was a Friday, 2023. And they kept an implant in the leg. Because I have an underlying condition, the surgery itself was successful. But after 3 weeks, the wound got infected to the point that they had to take me back to the theater again for the second surgery. So the second surgery, they took the implant out and rather used the external fixator. Then with the infected wound, they did a debridement. So it left a very big wound on my leg that could not heal by itself because of the underlying condition I have. So the third surgery was conducted, was performed, and at that point in time, it was a skin graft. They took flesh from my thigh and filled it at the wound that could not heal by itself. So I spent almost 4 months at the hospital here. I was admitted on the 17th. That was Sunday, 17th September 2023, and I was discharged on the 27th of December. The day was Wednesday, the same 2023. Since day one, during my admission, the social welfare team that is led by Madam Gloria and ably supported by Madam McCaffrey and the team have supported me from day one till today as I speak to you. It got to a time that even money to clear some bills when I was on admission became a challenge. They were there to support me. When they do not have the strength, they came in with philanthropists to support me at all times. Anytime I was traumatized, they were there for me. They provided support in so many ways for me. And then came to the time that I was discharged. Then Wednesday, me wo nkora 4. First one no when 14 years. And today Wednesday, anumre akwa kobo mpae maba. Nearby and say
mefrɛ me ba no na wafi school aba ɔnyare ɔnhwee nyɛ no nti ɔbaeɛ sɛ me sɛ ɔmɛboa me ma yɛndua mako ɛwɔ garden mu saa tam October na nsuo ɛtotɔ nkakrakakra nti yɛakɔsa black soil aba yɛde agu bowls mu a yɛpɛ sɛ yɛdua mako no nti baako mmienu the third one no na mehu yɛ no sɛ me ba no nim nkyɛn mepagya me ti no na me ba no hyɛ gata mu a ne ti abɔ ɛdan afei mefrɛ Louis nyɛ so biom Louis is off ɔkɔ nti neɛ baeɛ no sɛ na ɛsɛ yɛhwie nsuo gu no so no yɛbɔ mpaeɛ ne yɛfrɛ no nti ɛne baa ne ho so nti neɛ baeɛ no sɛ wafiri sukuu aba na yɛfrɛ sɛ ebi ɔkɔm na ɛde no nti yɛma no aduane ma no dii bɛyɛ 6:30 mu afei odidi wie a na ɔsɛ awɔde no ma so no mu yɛde ne kɔ dan mu ɛdan a yɛde ne kɔ mu apɛ ne takrama ahyɛ yɛ dudu ɔsɛ dadi ne takrama yɛ duru mu nti ne nkasa bi mu Louis den na ɛwɛ nti the only thing is sɛ mete presec nti ɛsɛ me rush no to a polyclinic na ɛwɔ Madina no nti mede ne kɔ hɔ mo sɛ no bed nti mo ne bed nti mo ntimi nhwɛ akɔla ma mo sɛ no bed nti na ɛsɛ sɛ within the private hospital bi wɔ UPS hɔ ɛwɔ within that area mu ɛkɔ na ɔmo gye no to hɔ hwɛ no Wednesday no anadwo no ade kyen Thursday no still na ɔcomplain ɔsɛ ne tie ne ya ɛna yɛ wuti nti ne ɛbaa yɛ no sɛ na ɛsɛ doctor no kyerɛ yɛnkɔyɛ MRI wɔ Hatchukwa no so wɔ baabi nti yɛkɔyɛ baayɛ which is on the 17th no yɛde baa na doctor no sɛ ɔbɛ refer to UGMC na ha deɛ mate sɛ yɛ sɛ ha deɛ woni sika wontumi ma ha na meyɛ deɛ ba ha yɛ sɛ hɔ ara na yɛde wɔ bɛkɔ nti on the 18th no yɛ refer yɛn sɛ ne yɛ mmra nti yɛbaa yɛ nso yɛ sɛ yɛbook yɛ appointment nti yɛnhwɛ yɛn maybe we have appointment abusua nti yɛbaa OPD hɔ main OPD no nti yɛbaa na mebɛhyia doctor baako no nkae sɛ okay bacho mebani wu ɔkekam iti nti mo mmɔde ana mo nhwɛ no ma me okay menkɔ na ɔmo nkyɛke ne batas mimi ma de girlfriend no batas afei yɛkyɛke wie abusua yɛwie a yɛsɛ mendi line medi line mu na akwala yi kam sɛnea ɛbɛyɛ a mehu doctor mebehu doctor na abɔ 6:30 anwummere.
Hello.